this is Jason Blanford from Ballistics Pro, and today I want to discuss why it's important to support your local gun store. Now, my local gun store is Highsmith Guns. They are out in Greenfield on the east side of Indianapolis. Very great store, great people. If you haven't been there, I recommend going there. Just east of Indianapolis, like I said. Go out there, introduce yourself. The people there are great. They're always willing to help. They know pretty much everything that can be known about all the guns in the store. So honestly, I couldn't think of a better place to shop. But here are a few reasons that you want to support your local gun stores. Number one, you don't want a large corporation taking over and supplying everybody with guns, because here's the thing, you're going to limit your choices, they're going to control the prices, and before you know it, it'll be like, oh hey, now I can only go to this big store or that big store, and those are my only two choices. Sound familiar? Well, that's how it is with groceries nowadays, pretty much. And we have a lot of big choices coming up right now in November. We've got our election coming up, and there's a lot of people out there would probably say, hey, I'm tired of what's going on. Things aren't good. Of course, there's a lot of people that might say the opposite. So, you got to take a look at both sides. But, I think a lot of people believe that honestly, things aren't being they're really not controlled by the government so much anymore as much as they are by the people funding the government, by special interest groups, by large corporations, and by the donors, and here, I'll give you $1 million if you just vote for this, that sort of thing. They're not even allowed to accept that much money. But I think the limit is $5,000 is the max contribution to a campaign. But all the time they're accepting millions of dollars and getting away with it. I don't know how they do it, but they're doing it. And that's just one of those things to think about. You don't want your guns being controlled, as well as your groceries and your clothing and everything else. And honestly, if you were the government and you got Biden in office, who is anti-gun, he's been anti-gun ever since he's been young, and that's not something he's ever denied. And if you really wanted to take over and, let's say, take away the guns from the American people, an easy way to do that would be through corporations. And how? I mean, you say, how could you do that through a corporation? Well, it's very easy. You start a government-funded corporation, or you have interest groups who are anti-gun, form a corporation, and you have a large conglomerate gun store start opening up gun stores and taking out all the mom and pop shops everywhere. And before you know it, you've only got gun store A and gun store B to go to, and they're both controlled by the same lobbyist groups that are anti-gun. And then all of a sudden the government says, okay, shut down the stores. What are you going to do now? What are you going to do now? Think about it. So, when it comes to our guns, it's most important to really protect that family business. That, we're not going out and feeding these large corporations and saying, hey, we're going to give you our money because it's $5 cheaper over here. Don't do it. Okay? Don't give up your rights to that. Okay? And there's plenty of gunsmiths out there, great gunsmiths, and they need jobs. And, these are the places where they're getting those jobs, is at the local gun stores. They're not going to have as many opportunities at the large chains as they will, because if you think about it, what is a large chain going to do? It's eventually going to centralize, and it's going to say, okay, we'll take the gun in the store, and then we'll eventually take your gun in, we'll ship it out to a central location, and then we'll have these gunsmiths all in California or New Mexico or wherever it's going to be, and all in this central location. They'll work on the guns, and then they'll ship them back to the stores, and boom. So all your gunsmiths will be gone, except for in specific pocketed areas. And it'll completely ruin the industry as we know it for, people that want to be, a local gunsmith, and really, some of these people should be championed, because, the work that they do is really good. And it's not that easy. It's not as easy as you would think. But, supporting your local gun store, there's more to it. You'd be surprised, really surprised, if you just go into your local gun store, introduce yourself, show up there, become a member, shoot at the range, and talk with them, and get to know them, how much they will look out for you. And they really will. You have an interest, you tell them your interest, you'd be surprised. Highsmith, they may not always have maybe everything I want, but every time I say, hey, this is something I'm interested in, they're always like, yeah, hey, let me see what I can do. And 99% of the time, they've been able to get it for me. And that, to me, is worth it. And, the other 1% of the time, I just pretty much said, not worth it for me, because I'm not going to support the big chains. And it's just, I'm not going to do it. But really, all in all, that's pretty much what I have to say for today. I wish I could stop saying so much, but I'm not writing scripts. I'm, saying this from my heart, saying this is what I believe, and truly just giving you the facts, the truth, and the light, I guess. But at least I don't sound like I'm bumbling like Biden or Harris right now. And sorry if that offends you, but honestly, those two are just something else. And our country deserves better. It really does. And yeah, that's the side that I'm on. Our country deserves better than those two. And despite what people say, they've done a good job, I don't see it. I really don't. And they're having a sale this weekend out at Highsmith, July 13th. And that's where I usually hang out on Saturdays. So, you want to ask me some questions, I'm there on Saturday, usually in the morning. Maybe 10, 11 o'clock a.m. And I shoot there, 2-3 hours, and then I go home. And so they're in Greenfield. They're on sale this weekend, like I said, July 13th. Tax-free. So basically 7% off on everything. Sure they would like to have you check out some of their guns. They got great guns, huge variety of guns to choose from. Like I said, just go in, introduce yourself, tell them what you like, and if they don't have it in the store, you'd be surprised. They'd probably be able to get it for you. Okay, again, this is Jason Blanford from Ballistics Pro. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel, and have a great day.